Now let's talk about the US and China. After weeks of escalating trade tensions and tit-for-tat measures, the world's biggest economies have called a timeout. The US and China have reached a truce. There is no full agreement yet. What they have agreed to is basically a framework, an outline on how to settle their trade differences. The agreement was reached in London. This was after a marathon 20-hour negotiation.
We've reached a framework for implementation. Now the process will be, we're both going to go back. So the idea is we're going to go back and speak to President Trump and make sure he approves it. They're going to go back and speak to President Xi and make sure he approves it. And if that is approved, we will then implement the framework.
We heard from US President Donald Trump earlier today. He has approved the deal. We are waiting to hear from Chinese President Xi Jinping. In the meantime, let's tell you what this truce is about. It's about access more than anything else. Both sides will reduce restrictions and give more access to each other. This is what the US has said, that China will ease export restrictions on two products: rare earth minerals and magnets. These are the two products, rare earth minerals and magnets. And this has been a major sticking point. Rare earths are critical for manufacturing today. These minerals are used everywhere, from modern day gadgets like smartphones to defense equipment and everything in between. China controls these minerals and magnets. It had curbed supply to the US, but now it will ease those restrictions. And what is China getting in return? Better access to the US. And the Americans too will remove some export curbs. They will go easy on Chinese students. Trump will let them be after complaining about them, after cracking down on them. He has made a stunning U-turn. The US president now says he never had a problem with students. That should be good news for Beijing. Either way, the US is selling this truce as a breakthrough. But investors are not quite convinced. The market reaction to this announcement was muted. Stock prices did not move very much, and that says a lot. Because this agreement lacks substance. The language is vague. The details are scarce, and most importantly, there is no meaningful reduction on tariffs. In fact, none of the diplomatic efforts so far have managed to deliver that. Last month, officials from the US and China met in Geneva. They shook hands on a deal, but within days, that deal fell apart. Both sides accused each other of breaking the agreement. Investors were hoping for more this time. They wanted clarity, they wanted commitment. But what did they get instead? A pledge to implement the very same deal that they struck in Geneva. In other words, the US and China met. They spent 20 hours in a room only to repeat what they'd already committed to before. And this has implications not just for these two countries, but for the global economy. After all, these are the world's two biggest economies, and they're at loggerheads. This is hurting economic projections. The World Bank, for one, has downgraded its outlook. The World Bank is predicting the slowest decade of growth since the 1960s. Forecasts of nearly two-thirds of countries have been cut. This includes major economies like the US, Japan, and Europe. Surprisingly, China is not on this list. China's economic forecast remains steady. The World Bank says Beijing can weather this storm. But America cannot. And that is largely because of Trump's trade war. It has unraveled the US economy. The tariffs have disrupted supply chains, and they are shrinking consumer spending. So the picture looks bleak. Unfortunately, it has a spillover effect on the rest of the world, what happens in the US. Trump's trade war has shaken all key pillars of the global economy. Yes, he has withdrawn the harshest tariffs, but he hasn't rolled back all of them. Like the universal 10% duties on all imports, they still apply. They've not been rolled back. And on top of that, the US is charging import taxes on steel and aluminium. Today, Donald Trump said that he'll still charge a tariff on China, a tax of 55%. Does he really think that the Chinese will not retaliate? Long story short, this trade war is far from over. If anything, it may see a new escalation.
First post now available in 9 languages on YouTube. English,
at $36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktoren,
Hindi,
$30 trillion ka karjo.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Sekali radikali. Stop
Japanese,
$4 兆ドル以上の
Portuguese,